we are with the 5-1 homework review. I had assigned problems 15 to 45 by 3s. Up here I have our first 6 problems in which you were asked to write each fraction or mixed number as a decimal. Use a bar to show repeating decimals if you need to. Our first one is 8/25. So we're going to take 8 divided by 25. And we need some placeholder zeros to be able to do this problem. We are going to multiply after we divide. And look at that, we have our answer already. You might notice instead of putting a 0 for my remainder, I like to put that double line showing that my problem is completely done. Our answer here is 32 hundredths. The next problem is 1 1/2. You may know this off the top of your head, and if you do, that's perfectly fine. Just write the answer for a problem like this. If not, I could take my fraction, write my decimal problem, and boom, there's my answer. I have my whole number, and I have my decimal. 1 1/2 is the same as 1 5/10. 1/9, I would take 1 divided by 9. And this one, you notice really quickly, it's actually going to repeat. So we can be done and just say it's 1/10 with a repeating period of 1. For 24, we have 4 divided by 11. And there we have it. We just came up with a 4. Because that 4 is here and here, we know that the 36 is our repeating period. So our answer is 36 hundredths with a repeating period of 36. For number 27, we would have 5 divided by 16. I think that's probably just, actually, seems like it's going to go 3 times. Yep. And this will go 2. 40. Oops, I made a mistake here. So 3 is 48. 2 times 16 does not, that was too big. I don't know, I was thinking 8, I guess. We get a 4. This would be a 2. I'm going to go ahead and erase this because we're running out of room. Alright, so now we have 80. I'm going to guess 5 because that's going to bring it to an end. That was right. There we go. We have 3,125 10,000ths for 5/16. Number 30 that I erased the number 4 over here is actually a word problem. It says in a survey, 17 students out of 20 said that they use a home PC as a reference source for school projects. Write 17/20ths as a decimal. So this is one that we could do one of 2 ways. I can 17/20ths. I could divide 17 divided by 20. What I think is a little easier to think about here is to change this to hundredths. Which I would get 85 hundredths. If you think about how I'm saying that, 85 hundredths, think about what it would look like as a decimal. decimal 85 hundredths. There you have it. Next up will be number 30. In number 30, let's see. Oh, that was number 30, sorry. In number 33 then, we're asked to compare two things. So in 33, we are comparing 5/8 and 65 hundredths. When we think about 5/8, I feel like that's one that we did. Is it? If it is, I'm not seeing it right now. No, I guess we'll divide it out. So we need to either change this to a fraction and then get the same denominators, or go ahead and change this to a decimal. I'm going to change it to a decimal. And there we have it. When you compare our decimals, our tenths are the same, our hundredths are different. So that's where we can make our comparison. 5 is bigger than 2, so you would put a less than sign in. 5/8 is less than 65 hundredths. 36 is a similar kind of problem. This time we have 1/5 and 5/10 with a repeating period of 5. So we need to tell you what I'm going to do. 1/5 I could change to tenths really easily by multiplying by 2. I would get 2 tenths. 2 tenths looks like that as a decimal. So we can compare now and say that 1/5 is in fact less than 5/10 with a repeating period of 5. Number 39, we have 3, erase this one. 39, we have 3 and 4/9, and we're comparing that to 3 and 4/10 with a repeating period of 4. So we need to figure out what 4/9 is as a decimal. 9 will go into 44 times and check it out. It's a repeating 4. So since 4/9 is 4/10 with a repeating period of 4, 4 and 4/9 is actually equal to 3 and 4/10 with a repeating period of 4. Next up, we have 42, which is 34 hundredths, the repeating period of the 4, and 34/99. When we have a situation like this, we need to take this 34/99 and figure out what that is as a decimal so that we can compare these. And excuse me a moment while I divide here. Oh, and check it out. I started with 34 and I ended up with 34 again, which means that 34 is actually going to repeat. So this is an interesting comparison here where I'm going to write these over here. I have the 4 that repeats, or I have the 3/4 that repeats. So in this one, you need to think about what those repeating bars mean. And I'm going to go ahead and repeat out some of it. This one would be 3/4, and then the 3/4 repeats. So when we compare now, 3's are the same, 4's are the same, and here in the thousands place we have our difference that we can compare. 4 is larger than 3. So 3, actually let me put that up in our original. 34 hundredths with a repeating period of 4 is a tiny bit bigger than 34 99ths. Last one is 45. It says find a terminating or repeating decimal between 1/6 and 8/9. Explain how you found them. So when we think about numbers, we have talked about this in the past, but let me remind you. On a number line, between two numbers, so between 1/6 and 8/9, there's actually an infinite number of numbers between those two fractions. We can we could each come up with a different fraction then. That would be a good answer here. I'm going to say, let's find a terminating. Oh, find a terminating and a repeating decimal between. So we're supposed to find one of each. I'm going to say, let's see, for my repeating, I'm going to say, I'm going to say this, 6/10 with a repeating period of 6, that's 2/3. That would be between the two of them. And I'm going to say, oops, 1/2. I was going to write it as a fraction, but we're supposed to do decimals. So 5/10 would also be between them. And this is a terminating decimal. This is a repeating decimal. You may have different answers for these as long as you gave your answer in decimal form and it's something between 1/6 and 8/9, you would be fine. If you needed to, you could figure out what is the decimal for 1/6 and what is the decimal for 8/9. If you needed to do that, you could. And I'll go ahead and tell you that 1/6 equals 1600ths with a repeating period of 6, and 8/9 is 8/10 with a repeating period of 8. So anything between those two decimals, you need one that terminates and one that repeats, but anything in there would work. So as long as you're bigger than this, smaller than this, and you are representing both a terminating and a repeating decimal separately, then you're good to go. That is the last one for this section. Make your corrections. Hopefully you took notes as we went and wrote down any questions that you have so that you can ask them at a later time. And look now in your coursework for 5-2. Thanks guys, see you later.